Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. Today we are discussing an important topic which is PCI Express. Now, a lot of you may already know a lot of things about the PCI Express and its implications, but still the things that we are going to discuss in this video, you might just catch a surprise. Alright, so there are a lot of factors when it comes to graphics cards and PCI Express that impacts performance. So we are going to discuss all of that in this video in a simple language. So make sure you watch the complete video so that you are armed with the knowledge so that you do not make a mistake of mismatching your graphics card and motherboard if you have done it in the past or if you plan to build a computer in the future. First of all, what is PCI Express? In very simple terms, it is a platform to connect the CPU and the GPU. It is a platform for communication, not just the GPU, but any expansion card that you might install. It may be a sound card, a network card, and in this case, since we are talking about GPUs only, a graphics card. So it is a platform for the connection between the two, for exchange of data between the two. Now, since there is exchange of data involved, we are also going to have to discuss the speed of the exchange of data. So that is impacted by two factors. First of all, the PCI generation, and then the number of lanes. So on Wikipedia, there's this table which makes it very easy to understand. So this is the PCI generation, and this is the transfer rate per lane. So this is just one lane. So PCI Express 1.0, you get 2.5 giga transfers per second, 2.0 5 giga transfers per second, 3 8, 4 16, and 5 32. There are 6 and 7 as well, but since there is nothing out there on these generations, so we are going to skip them. We are only going to talk about up to PCI Express 5.0. So this is the speed of transfer on a single lane. So you can consider it like a car. So if the data is a package, so the package is being delivered, package is being sent to and fro from the CPU and the GPU on these lanes, and this is the speed of the car. So this is probably 20 km an hour, 40, 80, 160, like that. So 2.5 giga transfers per second per lane on PCI Express 1.0. If we talk about 3.0, that's 8 giga transfers per second. On 4.0, it's 16, and on 5.0, it's 32. Now, the lanes. The lanes are significant because if this signifies a single car, now this signifies a highway. So 1x, so that means just one car can go to and fro. 2 means 2 cars, 4 cars, 8 and 16, and so on. So this enables parallel transfer of data to and fro of the data between the CPU and the GPU, which increases the speed, and the number of lanes multiplies the speed. So in PCI Express 1.0 at 2.5 giga transfers per second, in X1 mode, it's 0.250 gigabytes per second. X2, it's 0.500 gigabytes per second. X4, 1, X8, 2, and X16, 4. Now this is how it works. If you think about PCI 3.0, 4.0, it's the same way how it goes. So on a single lane, 8 giga transfers per second. In X1 mode, that's 0.985. In X2, 1.969. X4, 3.938, and so on. So this is the basis of PCI Express, the communication and the speed of the transfer of data between the CPU and the GPU. Now we are going to talk about these on the motherboard itself. Now before I show you the picture of an actual motherboard, we are going to discuss the specifications. Now this is the specification of the motherboard that I'm going to show you. So in terms of expansion slots, we have one PCI Express X16 slot running at X16. Now this is significant here. The first X16 that you see here is the size of the slot, and this signifies the speed. So if you take a look at the second one, we have one PCI Express X16 slot running at PCIe X4. We also have PCI Express X1 slots, but since they are not very usable to us, we are not going to discuss them seriously, but I'll still show them to you on the motherboard. Now this is our motherboard, and this is the first slot. So PCI Express X16, that is the size of the slot, and it is running at X16 as well. So if you take a look at the housing, between these plastic housings, you can actually see metal contact pins. So that means all the lanes are active. So since this one is running at X16 mode, all of the pins are going to be populated. Now compared to that, if we move on to this one, now the size is still x16. This is still an x16 slot, but running only at x4. If you take a look at this, the metal pins end here. The rest of the PCIe slot is empty. So on this one, only 4 lanes are active, right? And this is the x1 slot, size x1 and running at x1. Now, so what we have to make sure is that your graphics card is always installed in this slot, the one that is running the latest generation and the full number of lanes, all 16 lanes, right? So this is it when it comes to the motherboard. All right, now we'll move on. In addition to the motherboard, the number of lanes can be limited on the graphics card itself as well. Now on the screen, you can see this is a RTX 2070 Super running all 16 lanes. All right. So if you take a look, the whole slot is wired. You can see traces all around it. So all of it is wired. So it is running at X16. If you take a look at this one, this is a 4060 Ti. You see that the traces end here. The rest of it is empty. So this card has been designed to run only on 8X. So this is also something that you have to take care of when it comes to graphics card, PCI Express and expansion slots. Now we'll discuss the implications of it. We'll go back to the table. Now let's say you have a PCI generation 4.0 card, all right, which is one of the cards is running at X8 and one is running at X16. Now a lot of people still have B450 boards which are running PCI 3.0 still. Now you go and buy yourself a new graphics card. So let's say you buy a 4070 which has all 16 lanes. So even if it is running at PCI 3.0, it still would run at 15.754 gigabytes per second. Now, if the same card, if you go for the 4060 Ti, which is running X8 on the card itself, you are limited to just 7.877 gigabytes per second. So this is also something that you have to take care of when you are, choosing your parts from motherboards, the graphics cards. You have to take care of all of this. Now, if the same 8X card was running at 4.0, generation 4.0 slot, that would have still given us 15.754 gigabytes per second, which is the same as the X16 card running at 3.0. So this still might have been okay, but the best case scenario, X16 card, 4.0 X16 card running in an X16 slot, that is 31.508 gigabytes per second. So when it comes to installing a graphics card on a motherboard, the lowest spec, be it the PCI generation or the number of lanes, is what defines what the graphics card is going to run at. So if you have an X8 card and you plug it into an X16 slot, it is going to run at X8. If you have an X16 card and you plug it into an X8 slot, it is going to run at X8. The same goes with the PCI generation. If you have a 4.0 card plugged in a 3.0 slot, it is going to run at 3.0. And if you have a 3.0 card and you plug it in a 4.0 slot, it is going to run at 3.0. Now that we have discussed the mismatch between the graphics card and the motherboards that can occur, we are also going to test it in practical. Now this video was mostly theory. I just wanted to familiarize you with the concept of PCI Express, the generations and the lanes. All right. So if I included the tests in this one as well, the video would have been a bit too long. So I'm going to do it in the next one. What I'm going to do is I have a 3060 Ti, the card which has all 16 lanes active, and a 4060 Ti which has only 8 lanes active. So I'm going to test it on PCI Express 4.0 and 3.0 and compare the difference in the performance. So we are going to do that in the next video. But if you got to learn something from this one, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. And also look forward to the next one because the testing is going to be really interesting.